Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone, how are you guys? And so today we are going to start our lesson number 14, which is conversions among fractions, decimals and percentages. And thank you very much guys for watching and learning here. You guys are amazing and you're the best audience. So let's begin our today's lesson. So in today's lesson we will be covering 6 concepts. So we'll start converting from fractions into decimals and fractions into percentages. After that we'll convert decimals into fractions and decimals into percentages, and at last we'll convert percentages into fractions and percentages into decimals, right? So let's begin. So converting fractions into decimals. So here we have a fraction which is 9 over 100 and we have to convert it into the decimal. So we'll start solving it with the help of division. Since 9 over 9, this is a fraction 9 over 100, and we can also write this very thing as 9 divided by 100. Remember, there are 2 or 3 different representations of dividing the numbers, the same thing. Okay, so this is a square root sign. Inside the square root sign we are going to write the numerator value. Outside the square root sign we are going to write the denominator value. So 100 is our divisor. So start dividing. Since 9 is a small value and 100 is a bigger value, it means we cannot divide it, and for that what we have to do, we have to put a 0 and put a decimal point. So now this decimal point will allow us to put 1 0 over here. Now this number becomes 90. Since this 90 is still smaller than my divisor, which is 100, so now I have to put one more 0. So I'm going to put one more 0. So the moment I put 1 0 here, I also have to put 1 0 in the quotient in my answer, right? Now see, this number becomes 900, which is bigger than 100. It means now we can divide it. So start counting the times table of 100 up till 900 or less than, close to it. So 9 times 100 is 900. Now simply we have to take away 900 minus 900 will give us 0. So the fraction 9 over 100 will be converted into the decimal, and the value we are getting here is 0.09. So this is our answer, right? Okay, next question, 47 over 100. So how can we write it? So we write 47 inside the square root sign, and 4 is our divisor, which becomes outside the square root sign. So now we start dividing these numbers. So 1 times 4 is 4. Simply take away these numbers. 4 take away 4 is 0. Shift the next digit as it is down. It is up to you to whether to put an arrow sign or not. This is just for your memorization. So start counting the times table of 4 up till 7. So 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8. So 8 is bigger than 7, so we restrict ourselves up till 4. So now simply take away. Now 7 take away 4 is 3. Now check whether now my remainder value is 3, which is smaller than my divisor, which is 4. It means 3 does not come in a times table of 4. Now what we have to do in this case, so I am going to put a decimal point over here, and now I am allowed to put 1 0 here, right? Now this number becomes 30, which is bigger than 4. Now start counting the times table of 4 up till 30 or close to 30. So this will give me 7 times 4 is 28. Now simply again take away. So 30 take away 28 is 2. Now since now the remainder value is 2, which is small than my divisor 4, so 2 does not come in a times table of 4. Now again I have to put a 0 here. Since I have already written the decimal point here, now there is no need to put another decimal point or put a 0 in the answer, right? Since we have already put a 1 decimal point, so now I am allowed to put the zeros. Okay, So put 1 0 here. The moment I put 1 0, the number become 20, which is bigger than 4. It means now we can divide this number by 4. So start counting the times table of 4 up till 20. So we got 5 times 4 is 20. Now simply take away 20 minus 20 is 0. So the answer we are getting for this fraction in the decimal form is 11.75. And this is the correct pronunciation of these numbers in the decimals. If you are going to pronounce it like 111.75, that would be wrong. We have to pronounce the digits after the decimal point as a single digit, right? Okay, question number 3. 3 over 20. So let's just solve it quickly. 3 inside, 20 outside. So 3 is smaller than 20. We cannot divide it. Simply put 0 and a decimal point. Now this decimal point allow me to put a 0. So by putting just 1 0, this number becomes bigger than 20. It means we can divide it. So start dividing. 1 times 20 is 20. Simply take away. Remainder left with me is 10. Now remainder value is smaller than 20. We cannot divide it. So put 1 0 here. Since I've already written the decimal point, right? So I'm allowed to put 0 here. So start counting the times table of 100. Start counting the times table of 20 up till 100. So that will give you 5 times 20 is 100. Or if you're not so sure about times table of 100, so you can also do it this way. So see, look here, 5 times 2 is 10 and there is 1 0, so put also 1 0 here, right? Okay, now simply take away 100 minus 100 is 0. So the fraction 3 over 20 will be converted in the decimal form and we are getting the answer 0.15. So this is our final answer, right? I hope you have got the concept. Okay, moving on to the next section, which is fractions to percentage. Okay, before solving the question, let me tell you one thing. So what is the meaning of a 1%? So this is 1. So percent means, per means divide in mathematics, and cent means 100. So 1% means 1 over 100. 1 divided by 100 or 1 over 100, and this is in the form of a fraction, right? Okay, moving back. So this is 9 over 100 and we have to convert it into the percentage. So whenever you have to convert any number, whether it can be a fraction or a whole number, and you have to convert it into the percentage, simply you have to times it with 100%. Always remember this thing, right? Okay. Now, what is the value at the bottom of this 100%? If there is no value shown to you, that is 1. So now this is remember the simplification possibilities, 4 possibilities we have discussed in the previous lesson. So apply that possibility. So can this be simplified or not? Let's check this one out. So this is the first possibility, 9 over 100. So can both of these two numbers be simplified on any times table? No. Can these two numbers be simplified, 100 over 1? No, since 1 is already in its simplified form. So now can this number and this number be simplified? No. This is the third possibility. And the fourth possibility is, this is the numerator and this is the denominator. Can this be simplified? Yes, of course this can be simplified on a times table of 100. So 1 time 100 is 100, 1 time 100 is 100. So write the new equation, which is 9 over 1 times 1 over 1. So the value we are getting here is 9, and don't forget to put the percentage sign. So this will be 1 time 9 is 9, or 9 time 1 is 9, and 1 time 1 is 1. Whether to write it or not, both are correct ways. So this is 9% is our final answer. Right? Okay, next is 47 over 4. So what we have to do, so simply you need to times it with 100% in order to convert it into the percentage. So 100%. So now start simplifying, check whether it can be simplified or not. So yes, this can be simplified on a times table of 4. So 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 left, so this will become 20, and 5 times 4 is 20, right? So write the new equation, which is 47 times 25%. So whenever you are getting the values 1 in the denominator, there is no need to write 1 in the denominators, right? So now simply multiply both of these two numbers, 47 times 25. So this will become 1175%. So this is our final answer. Next, question number 3. So 3 over 20. Simply you have to multiply it with 100%. Now check whether it can be simplified or not. So yes, this can be simplified. So see, over here we are getting 0 in the denominator, so this would be cancelled, and 0 in the numerator, this would be cancelled. So new values will be 3 over 2 times 10 over 1, and here we have a percentage sign. So now can this further be simplified? Yes, this can be simplified on a times table of 2, these two values, because they are making a fraction. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So write the new values, 3 over 1 times 5 over 1 percentage. So the answer we are getting here is 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer is 15 over 1%, or simply 15%. I hope you have got the concept. Okay, next. So moving on to the third section, which is decimals to fractions. So this is simple. The question is in the decimal form, we have to convert it into the fraction. So what is the value on the extreme left side, sorry, extreme right side? So this is 9, so write 9 here, a non-zero value, right? So this is 9, and since we have to convert it into the fraction, it means we should be getting our final answer in this form. We have a certain value at the top, certain value at the bottom, and this is our numerator, this is our denominator, and collectively this whole very thing will give you a fraction, right? So since this is 9 and we have to divide it, now see, this is our decimal point, and instead of this decimal point write 1, right? Okay, now see, now look, there are how many digits after the decimal point? So there is 1 and 2. There are 2 digits after the decimal point, so put that number of zeros. Since there are 2 digits after the decimal point, so put 2 zeros here, right? So see, we have successfully converted a decimal into a fraction. So you can further simplify it if it can be simplifiable, or and if it's not, leave your answer up till here. But in this concept, like in this lesson, we are just learning how to convert a decimal into a fraction, right? We have already done simplification in the previous lessons. Okay, moving on to the next question. So this is 11.75. so write the complete number without the decimal point, right? Okay, in the first case we did not write 00 before. Why? Because the values, the number of zeros before a value, they does not have any worth or any value. So 009 is equal to 9. Okay, so whether to write 0 before the numbers or not, it is the same thing. So that's why we did not write the zeros. Got it? Okay, so now 11.75, so write 1175 without the decimal point. Now put a division sign. Now for instead of in place of this decimal write 1 and see there are how many digits. Since there are 2 digits, so write 2 number of zeros. So we have successfully converted our decimal into a fraction. So this is our final answer, or you can simplify it further. Okay, moving on to the third question. So 0.15. So write 15. Okay, if you are confused why we are not writing 0, so you can write 0 as well. Okay, there is no harm in writing 0. And then divide sign, and in place of this decimal point write 1 and see there are how many digits after the decimal point, 2 digits. So write 2 number of zeros, right? So our final answer is 15 over 100. So far so good. Okay, let's move on to the next section, which is now we are going to convert a decimal to percentage. We have already done decimal to fraction. Okay, so question number 1 is 0.09. Question is written in the decimal form. We have to convert it into the percentage. And remember what I told you. So in order to convert any number, any fraction, any decimal value into the percentage, what you have to do, you have to simply times it with 100%. Right? Okay. So now this is decimal point. There are two possible ways of solving this question. So let's do both ways. So first I'm going to convert this decimal into a fraction. We have already learned that. So write 9, put a division sign, instead of decimal point write 1 and see there are how many digits. There are 2 digits, 0 and 9. So put 2 number of zeros. Now simply multiply it with 100%. Now this 100 will be cancelled out with this value, with this 100, and we are getting simply 9%, or 9 times 1%, and 9 times 1 is 9%. Right? Okay, let me tell you a second method of solving the same question. Okay, now see, question is 0.09. And we have to convert it into the percentage. So for percentage we simply need to times it with 100%. Right? Okay, now see, so whenever we are going to multiply a decimal value with any number, so you always have to move the decimal point towards the right side. Always remember this thing. Right? Now see, there are how many zeros in here? There are 2 zeros. So it means we have to shift the decimal point 2 digits towards the right side. And the direction, okay, what thing will tell us we have to move towards the right side or left side? So the sign, if the numbers are multiplying, you have to shift the decimal point towards the right side, and if the numbers are dividing, you have to shift the decimal point towards the left side. Okay, so since I am going to shift this decimal point towards the right side, how many units? 2 units. Since there are 2 zeros, so this decimal point will be shifted 2 units, 1 and 2. So your new decimal point should be here. So your answer is 009% or simply 9%. Since these zeros does not have any value because they are before a certain non-zero number, right? Got it? So from this solution we make a conclusion that whenever we are going to multiply decimal number with any other number, whenever you are going to multiply any number with the decimal point should always be moved towards the right side. and whenever we are going to multiply the decimal value with any number, we have to shift the decimal point always towards the left side, right? So in short, when decimals or numbers are multiplying with each other, you have to shift the decimal point towards the right side, and when the decimal number is dividing with any other number or with any other decimal, you have to shift the decimal points towards the left side, right? Okay, one more thing before moving on to the next question. Let me tell you one more thing, that why we are always multiplying it with 100% whenever we have to convert it into the percentage. So see, this is 100, this is 100%. So I've already written 100, and percent we have already discussed. Percent means per means divide, and cent means 100, right? Now I can also write the same very thing as 100 times 1 over 100, because if you are going to multiply 1 times 100, you will get back this thing, right? So write 100, and this thing means what? 1 over 100 means percent, right? So this is the reason why we are always multiplying it with 100% whenever we have to convert any number into a percentage. Got it? Okay. So moving on to the second question. So this is 11.75, and we have to convert it into the percentage. So simply times it with 100%, and since this is a decimal, so remove this decimal point. So in order to remove this decimal point, what I'm going to do, so divide it, and instead of this decimal point, remove this decimal point and write 1. And see, there are how many digits after the decimal point? 2 digits, so write 2 number of zeros. Now this 100 will be cancelled out with this 100, so the new number we are left with us is 1175%. Got it? Okay, third question. So this is 0.15. We have to convert it into the percentage. For that, I'm going to multiply it with 100%. Now convert this decimal value into the fraction, or remove this decimal point. So in order to remove this decimal point, I'm going to write 1 here, and since there are 2 digits after the decimal point, write 2 number of zeros. Now this 100 will be cancelled out with this 100, so the new number we are left with us is 0.15%, or simply 15%. Right? I hope you have got the concept. Okay, let's move on to our next section. So now we are going to learn how to convert percentage into fraction and percentage into decimal in the upcoming section. Since this is 9% and we have to convert it into the fraction, so write 9, and percent means what? Per means divide, and cent means 100. So we have successfully convert the percentage value into the fraction. Simple. This is 1175. Per means divide, and cent means 100%. So this is our final answer. Got it? Similarly here, 15%. So this will become 15 over 100. Easy. Okay, coming on to the last portion of our today's lesson, which is converting percentage into a decimal. So now see, we have two different methods of solving this question. Let's apply both of these two methods, and then you can pick any one of your own choice that you think it is easy for you. So this is 9%. So first convert it into the, so per means divide and cent means 100. So we have converted this percentage into a fraction, but our aim is to convert it into a decimal. So now from here, remember the rule we have studied: whenever the numbers are multiplying, the decimal point will be shifted to where? Right, towards right. And whenever the numbers are dividing, the decimal point should always be moved towards left, right? So let's apply the first method. Write the numerator value, which is 9, and we are dividing. So now we are dividing, it means we have to move. Right now by default, the decimal point of any number is always on the extreme right side. For example, the decimal point of this digit 9 is over here, the decimal point of the question 2 is here, the decimal point of this 15 is here by default in mathematics. So since this is by default value, so it is not necessary to show or mention the decimal point, right? But it is understood the decimal points are lying at these positions. Okay, so according to this, the decimal point is over here, right? And now we have to, since the numbers are dividing, it means we have to move the decimal point towards the left side. Okay, now how many units? So these number of zeros will tell us we have to move the decimal point how many units. Since there are 2 zeros, so you have to put the decimal point 2 zeros towards the left side. Okay, so we write the decimal point here. Now what should we write in between the decimal point and the digit 9? Since this is one digit is already there, but we do not have any other digit, so you can simply put a 0. Now see, there are 2 digits in between the process. We have shifted the decimal point, right? And before the decimal point there is always a 0, so your final answer is 0.09. This is the first method. This is the easy one method. Now what is the second method? We can also solve the question using the division method. Since 9 is in the numerator, your denominator value is 100, so that will become divisor. So start counting the times table of 100 up till 9. We cannot do it, so simply put a decimal point and write 10. But this 90 still is a smaller number than my divisor, which is 100. So again put 10, but whenever you are going to put 2 consecutive zeros, so you first always have to put 10 at the top. So now this number becomes 900, so start counting the times table of 100 up till 900. So that will give me 9 times 100 is 900. Simply take away, you will get remainder 0. Now see, now let's just compare our answer. So see, over here answer is 0.09, and over here the answer is still the same, which is 0.09. So these are the two different methods of solving or converting the percentage into a decimal, right? Okay, let's move on to the next two questions. Let's solve them quickly. So I'm going to apply the method 1 in the next questions. So this is 1175 or 175. Per means divide and cent means 100. Now right now the decimal point is over here by default, so we have to move the decimal point left or right. Since the numbers are dividing, so I have to move the decimal point towards left side, towards the left side. Okay, and how many units? Since there are 2 zeros, so you have to put the decimal point 2 zeros, 2 digits towards the left side. So our decimal point should be shifted here, right? So this will be our new decimal point. So once you put your new decimal point, so you can write your answer over here, 11.75. right? Now you can question me that where should this 100 go? So this 100 is basically participating in telling us the procedure to move the decimal point. So once we move this decimal point from this position to this position, so this 100 has been eliminated. Okay, moving on to the last question. So this is 15. Per means divide, cent means 100. since they are dividing, by default the decimal point is over here, and since the numbers are dividing, it means we have to move the decimal point towards the left side. Now how many units? So these number of zeros will tell us how many units. So 2 zeros, so shift this decimal point towards 2 units. So this is 1 and this is 2. So our final answer is decimal point and 1 5, and before the decimal point there should always be a 0, right? So this is our final answer. So I hope you have got the concept. So here comes to an end of our today's session. Stay blessed, be happy, keep smiling, and thank you once again guys for watching and learning here. Keep learning and stay safe out there. See you after.
Barrel waiting for the